What's up, guys? Justin Brock here with the Insurance Gurus podcast, and my buddy Steven Martinez
Good morning.
here with us today. And today we got a special guest, John Wetmore with Family First Life, and want to tell his story, man, because it's a good story. Somebody that didn't seek out, I think, to go into insurance right from the get-go, had a modest background, but has done some pretty impressive distribution building in a relatively short amount of time. And I think a lot of people want to do that. So we want to bring you people who have done that to talk. John, thank
Absolutely.
you for being on today.
You got it, man. Happy to be here, brother.
Awesome. So John, man, so you tell me, I know we'll go through just a few things here to set everything up, but you haven't, how long have you been in the life insurance world now?
So the count I use is 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. So I started selling about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I played around. I always joke, like, I was a slow start. I applied in 2008. It took me till 2010 to get my license, and it took me to 2012 to book my first appointment.
Hey, there you go.
So,
well, you'd been thinking about
10 years since I started. I was playing around, man.
A lot of preparation there.
I was one of those guys. Hey, so I always joke, like, everybody wants that fast start guy, and I'm like, I was a little slow start, but once I figured it out.
Well, sometimes it's worth the wait. So yeah, I'm about 10 years too. I think I'm right at 9. So so that's awesome. About 9.5 in. So we're somewhere around that same time. You probably started thinking about it a little earlier than me, but I started an individual producer as well. Steven started as individual producers. I think that gives a good, it gives to be able to do it as an individual helps you build distribution. I'm assuming you would agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly lets you teach others the mistakes you made, and for me, hopefully make it a shorter learning curve than it was on my end.
Absolutely. So you've gone from in that 10-year span, we'll call it. You've gone from 0 to, is it 125 million? You said in life distribution
last year. Yeah. Yep.
Wow, 125 million. That's so awesome. What leads to going from 0 to 125 million in 10 years? And when did you really start to climb the distribution side versus the personal producer side?
Yeah, it's one agent at a time, man. One phone call at a time. There's no real trick to it, dude. I just did those phone calls and those agents probably more frequently than the average person.
Yeah.
I actually started. So I think when I first got introduced to the industry, I was introduced to it as just a sales thing, and I picked up the phone once when I got licensed in 2010, literally dialed once, maybe 30 minutes, got hung up on a few times. And I was like, this is not for me. And I went back to accounting.
Yeah.
In 2012, I had a buddy reach out that I had been in the mortgage business with previously. And when he introduced it to me, certainly he did show me the sales side, and what he did well is he showed me other people that were having success in the sales side, talked about their backgrounds and how they had kind of achieved it, what they went through, et cetera. But he immediately showed me the business side of it as well. And he related it to something I was familiar with, which was the mortgage industry, because you can build very similar in that world. So I understood that. And funny enough, I actually hired him in the mortgage industry as a loan officer. I paid him X amount. I got a little spread. So when he closed a loan, I got paid a few bucks. Yeah. And so he introduced this industry to me that way and gave me an opportunity to, because I always wanted to build something. I didn't know what, but I didn't really see myself as a sales guy. I still don't, but I wanted to have a business. And when he introduced it to me that way, I was like, whoa, that's different. I didn't know that prior to.
Yeah.
So 2012, man, I was doing accounting still. I got into insurance part-time. So I was selling a couple nights a week and on Saturdays, and I was commuting. I had an 1.5-hour commute each way to my accounting job at the time. And I was calling Craigslist resumes, dude, on my way to my accounting job at that time. I'd print out 10 resumes a night. I'd run ads at night. By the time I woke up, I'd have some, I'd print them out, and on the ride in, I'm in the car at 5:30 a.m. There's only so many you can call that early, but on the way back, on the way home, I was calling resumes, man, in the car. Then I wasn't good at it. There was no traction, but I was learning it. So
Yeah.
I was technically recruiting from day one,
Yeah.
but I didn't get any traction till probably, I always say it, like my first 2 years, I and I'm an accountant, so I tracked everything. I did about 700 interviews
Yeah.
myself in the first 2 years, and at the end, in during the middle of 2014, I had one agent, and his name was John Wetmore.
Yeah.
And that was it. So I had some come and quit, and you know what I mean, come and go, and got some started, and they quit. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get any traction, man, until about 2015. So it's really been 7 years from
What made you
zero to.
not quit in that time frame when you're going ham, doing 700 interviews, and then you wake up and you think, why am I'm chasing my tail? And
Yeah.
obviously eventually it paid off, but
Yeah.
so many people, I think, like, it's in that period, they're like, this doesn't work, this is a scam, this is a whatever, and then they never, they're 5 feet from gold. They can't
Yeah, for sure.
do that.
I saw other people having success in the industry. Again,
Yeah.
my buddy Jeremy that introduced it to me, he showed me other people. I got to meet some people, and it was pre FFL. FFL didn't exist at the time, so I was proud of that even. But I work with a lot of the same people today still. But he just showed me other people having success, so I was following people. I was going to meetings. I was going to trainings, and I've one thing I've been given. I struggle with a lot of stuff, dude. But one thing that I see a lot of people struggle with that I do not struggle with, I've had it since I was a kid. I always believe if someone else can do something, I can too. I
Yeah.
just have to figure it out. And if they're willing to teach me, I just don't believe that I can't figure stuff out. I'm just 100% certain I can figure it out.
I'm the same way. I see things. I'm like, we can
Yeah.
figure that out. It can be
Correct. And so I was given that piece. Thank God, because the other pieces I was not given. I had to learn a lot, man. But that like belief that I could figure out something that someone else has already done.
Yeah.
So to me, I never considered the quit building. I never stopped. I just knew, and it didn't take long, honestly, for me to learn that I was a big factor in the problem. I had enough people that weren't happy with the way I was speaking to them or my expectations of agents, or, you know what I mean? I was abrasive, honestly. I'm pretty direct by nature. I'm not the biggest people person by nature. And I didn't realize how different we all are. Weird enough, I was 35 when I got into the business, and I had no idea how different we all were as people.
Mhm.
So I struggled communicating early, and I had enough people complain. And thank God I had good mentors that were honest with me. And my buddy Mike Killamet, who's been with me, I've been with him for 10 years now. He mentors me. We're the complete opposite. He's like a silent killer, but he's such a good guy. He communicates well. He has patience with people. And he was just really honest, man. He's like, you just can't speak to people that way, dude. Not everyone takes it like you do. And not that my way is the right way, but I'm wired. I need direct. I don't beat around the bush. I won't catch it. I'll miss it.
Yeah.
So
you ended up attracting guys that were like that, guys and girls that that appreciate direct, though, like in the long run.
with time I did. Yeah, not at first, because I was in the beginning, honestly, dude, I think a lot of people make this mistake, and I did too, when we're trying to bring people in, we literally like beg them to work with us. We promote all the amazing parts of the industry, and we throw up on them how easy and, oh my God, you can be loaded tomorrow. Like we glorify the upside, I think.
Yeah.
I know I did. And I don't think we vet people well enough. We don't set expectations right. We don't set the stage for what it's going to take to have success in the industry. We just throw it against the wall and hope it sticks. And I did that poorly. And then when they didn't do exactly what I thought they should do, I got frustrated. And I only got frustrated because of my incorrect expectations of them.
Yeah. No,
So with time, dude, though, when I learned how to communicate, and there are ways to be direct with people and be nice. Like that's definitely a thing, as you know.
Yeah.
And with time, I certainly started attracting people that were more in tune with that. And I was able to communicate in a different way, for sure.
And some of the early success leads to a slightly bigger stage, some proof of concept, and then you start to drive those people by them seeing you successful, but then they also appreciate then you find the people that appreciate. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
In the vetting, you talked about vetting. Just a couple of things you talked about. One that I think is interesting is early on you said you set up the sales side versus the business side, and I'd not really heard it separated as sales and business. A lot of times I'll say like sales and marketing or but it is important that people understand you can be an individual salesperson and do well in the industry, but there's a massive opportunity for the people that actually want to build a business. And to build a business, you have to have people. And one of the fastest ways in this industry to build it is to build a sales team, but then be able to support them on the back end. So that's a good concept for people to understand. You can get into it by sales, but if you want to scale past a certain point, you have to build a real business out of it. And one man is a business, but it's not a real business.
Not really. Yeah. Because here's the thing. If you don't, and I always ask people, like, if you came to me, I would go, Justin, dude, I got a question, man. Do you want to sell insurance for the rest of time, or do you have any interest in building an agency?
Mm-hmm.
And it just starts the conversation for me. And again, it's worded very intentionally, because the reality is, anyone watching this, if you don't build, unless you create some source of income outside of what you're doing, you will sell forever.
Yeah.
Or you'll have to adjust your lifestyle some way. You know what I mean? If you want to live on a multiple six-figure income, all good. But unless you're amazing at saving, or you're investing into real estate or some other cash flow play, unless you're doing something else, when you stop selling, it goes away. And then the thing that always makes me laugh about this industry is people talk about like lifetime renewals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, those are great, but they're not your lifetime. They're the client's lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
So when they die, there's no more renewals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so if we don't build something,
renewals, you start to diminish. Plus, if you stop, people can start picking apart your book too.
Correct.
You can lose some of those people. They'll die. They'll cancel policies, all kinds of stuff. So I put out a reel the other day where I was talking about, to some degree, passive income or, residual income is a myth. It's not that there aren't products that pay, but if you are out of it, that will start to go away because
it will go away.
Or you have to build a business like you're saying, and you still have to own that business or that apparatus that continues to create that. And so there's some action that goes into it. So I said there's not really passive income, it's active income, but you can scale out of maybe you having to do it if you can build a proper business.
Correct.
And I still
and I didn't want that, man. I didn't want to sell forever. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah, no,
I didn't enjoy being in the field. That wasn't my favorite thing. Now, it got me out of being broke, so I was appreciative for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't wake up every day like, whew, excited to go knock on trailer homes today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't my dream.
Yeah, right. Right. It's a means to an end. People, we should understand and tout that it's the lifeblood of the industry. Correct. But that we should be recruiting new blood into it so that they can earn their stripes and eventually encourage them to also build their own distribution.
Yeah. And I think too, it was important for me to sell at a high level, because I was selling the first couple of years and I was doing better than I was on my accounting job, but my lifestyle wasn't changing. I wasn't killing it, and I was putting in very mediocre effort, which, as you know, that's most agents. It's most people. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But when I started really understanding the volume play, the high activity, really sell a lot, my need for agents went to zero, because I didn't need them to affect my lifestyle, because I was doing just fine with leads. I'm a leads junkie in my world. It is what it is. So give me leads and a cell phone and I'm good. I can make about as much money as I need to make on an individual basis, live a great lifestyle. And that changed my mentality when I was recruiting, because I didn't need them. And I think at the beginning I was definitely building for the override. Mm-hmm. And when I changed it to really go like, I actually want other people to enjoy the income that I'm enjoying now, because I learned how to sell, and plenty of people helped me along the way. I had to learn this. I was a disaster at the beginning. And when I changed it to like, I really want to help you win. So you willing to do A, B, C, and D, because here's what I've learned it takes. Here's how I've had success. I can point you in the direction, but the reality is you as the individual agent are going to have to do all the work. Yeah. I'm just more of a guide. I can point, I can direct, I can tweak some things. So I started looking for people that wanted to be like insanely coachable, willing to work hard, and were willing to be like vulnerable during the process so we could actually fix their mistakes. And if they weren't willing to do that, I started telling everybody, man, I'm telling you, if you don't follow these basic little steps of working hard for your family, doing the things you say you're going to do, and being coachable, I'm 100% sure I'll quit you before you quit me.
Yeah.
And I could, because I was selling enough, and it wasn't in a mean way. I just wanted to help people hey, my belief is I'm as 1099 as they are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to work with me. I don't have to work with them,
Right.
and I just found
it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Hey, so 2015 is when your efforts on team building started to work and started to pay off. Started to grow. How many agents? You're 125 million last year in distribution. How many agents make that up now?
We had just about 1,500 sell a policy last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there were probably a little over 4,000 for the year last year.
Okay.
Well, obviously, as you know, they don't all stay. They don't all sell every month. They ebb and flow. But we had about 1,500 last month. About, I don't know, 11,000 policies last month.
So I just did a little quick math. You're looking at, based on kind of last year's number and your average monthly producer, your average producer who actually produces monthly is producing about 83,000 plus in premium a year, which as an average would be well beyond the industry average. So
and that includes the bottom, I don't know, 500 that sold one app.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So but as 83,000 as an average is good, because that means you got some studs in there too. I mean, some big heavy hitters, and
right. It holds true. 80% of your production is going to come from 20% of your agents.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely have some 6-figure monthly guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, it's a cool average though too,
and that's all on the life side, right?
Yeah, 98% of what we sell is life side. We do a little bit of annuities, but it's a good big mix between final expense and just your traditional mortgage protection, life insurance term stuff. Gotcha. Certainly there's some IULs mixed in there, but heavy life, like almost all of it.
Yeah. Perfect, man. Well, it's certainly a great story, because it's basically 7 years from, what would you say on your own pen you were producing in 2015? Because you 125 million last year. I'm assuming you were in the 400,000 or 500,000, 300,000 premium.
460 in 15. 460.
So
when I turned it up, I did a little over $1 million in like 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of the field from, again, 14. I probably did 170.
Yeah.
Issued, not deposited, issued.
Right.
And then the next 2.5 years, mid 2017, I got out of the field.
Yeah.
I went at it. My deal was I was going to run 30 appointments a week and do 30 interviews a week.
Did you take it? So from being the producer and then kind of going like taking that slope down into building the team, seeing the bigger picture of, hey, I've proved concept. I really want to focus on this. I'm learning the people skills from my mentor to be able to try to build that base. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to focus on team building because I know I have more value to add by changing these people's lives. And in the long run, it'll come back to me. I'm assuming there's probably a period there where your personal income went down when you were trying to begin to build. Like coming off.
A lot of people make that mistake, man. Mine did not during that stage. That's the problem I see in the industry is people try to build and they slow down their personal production.
Okay.
I literally maintained I increased from, if I look at 2014 to 2015, my personal production tripled.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I did not slow down still to this day. The only thing that stopped in 2017, I turned off personal production. I didn't like phase out.
Gotcha.
I knew based on the cash flow, I knew I could get out of the field. So I finished out 2016. I did a couple months in 2017. And by I think it was like April, I was out of the field. But that 2.5 years, dude, my production did not stop at all. And that's what stayed attractive. And I could afford to continue investing into the business because it was not cheap to marketing dollars, staff dollars, office. Like I spent some money, dude.
Yeah.
Helping people with leads. I was investing.
You're paying heavy into lead flow.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
probably try to subsidize some lead flow to some of the new guys occasionally.
Yeah.
So
I did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't stop that piece, and that's a mistake a lot of people
Like,
make.
leads like heroin. You got to get them hooked on it. Like, hey, here's some leads. Hey, I made some money. Yeah, now go buy some more leads.
Correct. Yeah, if you teach them
works.
how to do it. I'm like an add fuel to fire kind of guy. So if I saw someone, I've tried all kinds of stuff. I've tried to supplement from the beginning, give people. I've tried it all, dude.
Yeah.
And I always explain to people in 2017, dude, I put like 450 grand into leads, and I was not in the field.
Right.
You know, so I was willing to invest in people. Now I made some mistakes that year, and what I learned from it is my favorite thing to do is to take a guy who's working hard, doing the best he can. He understands the business. He or she just physically can't figure out how to get to that next level. Maybe they're scared to invest more in leads because no one's confused. If you spend $1 on leads and you make $2, obviously spending 2, you'll make, you know what I mean? Like the numbers are what they are. So, you know, for me, I would like to find a guy or girl that's out there working and doing what they can do. And all I have to do is add fuel to fire to get them to that next appointment level. So if they're running 15 appointments and all I got to do is help them get to 30,
yeah,
I'll help that person, give him the leads. I'll just give him the leads, let him reinvest back in. Hey, can you fix this? Let him reinvest back in, and then teach him how to manage the cash flow from there.
Yeah.
Did that video cut out for you or no?
Yeah.
It did cut out. I figured you might have a battery or something. Or
Hey, see if the battery's out, dude. Yeah. Right.
You
there.
guys use
There's one plugged in right there.
In there, mine has
On the wall, dude. Yeah. Sorry. We'll keep going. I can hear you, dude. You can keep going.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously something that you're done well is I think refined how you approach a prospect for an agent opportunity, but also probably refined who you were looking for.
I'm listening, dude.
Yeah. So if you refined like over time who you were looking for, there's some kind of tips you have for somebody someone else who's building a team, like like who are you looking for? What I mean, I know kind of you're looking for a go-getter, you're looking for all that, but what tells you that?
I'll make it easy. I'll make it super easy because everyone overcomplicates this, including me.
Yeah.
So if you think anybody out there, and you can do this, we can do it live. How many guys do you have working with you? Because I have no idea.
We have 30 W-2 team members. We have 2,900 downline agents.
All right, cool. If I go out of your 2,900, give me if I go, who stands out the most?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the first name that comes to mind.
Oh,
and if you don't want to say it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can, you know what I mean? If you don't want to offend someone.
Okay.
But usually someone can go right away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think if you got 10, dude, of your 10, who stands out?
Yeah.
I don't even have to say who stands out in what. I don't even have to define stand out. Like just who stands out the most. Joe.
Yeah.
Dude, work more closely with Joe. Right? Push him a little bit more. Look, I'm just looking for who stands out based on where I'm at in my current business.
Okay.
So if my current business has no volume, dude, I just want, and one guy shows up to training every Monday, that's my guy that stands out. I'm focusing on him a little bit more versus trying to drag all 10 to the same spot.
Gotcha.
I think we get caught up with like, I want all of them running this many appointments. I want all of them doing this many dials. I want all of them doing this much production. All of them to be on this train, which in the ideal world, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. So I
like to take a core, who stands out, and put more time and energy into that person, so I can retain the mental energy because we only have so much capacity.
Yeah.
You know.
So
those are the guys that I pour into more.
So you funnel them in from anybody who's willing to, and then you wait for the person to shine by effort mostly, and by effort. I mean, because that's when I think about it. You know, the people that are shining. Obviously, you think you're top producers, but you also think of the people that keep showing up. You know, consistent.
Correct.
Consistent.
With time, that's easy. At the beginning, it's a little different to identify because you might not have any top producer.
Yeah.
You know, so I might look at who returns the contracting paperwork the fastest, who responds more politely to my staff relative to everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. But
Does that make sense?
crazy that
Little stuff, man.
when they're contracting don't understand that the faster that they contract and the nicer they are to my team, and the more my team likes them, the more I'm going to want to work with them too.
Correct. I'm paying attention from the jump, dude. Just who's, and when you do it enough, you can tell one off who stands out from the norm relative to your past.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't always have to compare to 10 people, but you do this enough, you start to go, ooh, he's different. He speaks different. He responds to emails different. He's more organized. He attaches the files. You know what I mean? Again, I can go old school when they used to have to send us contracting like by paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd get some that are like half the pages are upside down. They got chocolate brownie on them. They're scanned funny. Like I'm watching like who organized them. Again, do you name five simple stuff, man?
Yeah.
That do they make when they call the carriers? How do they speak to them?
Yeah.
How do they treat lead companies?
Yeah.
How do they talk about clients?
Be an asshole to a carrier. And then I've had carriers reach out and be like, hey, who's this guy? And there's some of them I don't even, one of them I told him, I was like, hey, terminate him if you want to. He's an asshole. And then other ones I'm like, I don't know what was going on with that guy. He must have been having an off day because he's always very nice to us. And so it all matters. All of that's collateral that people don't take into account. They think that they can be jerks to a carrier and administrative staff, but to me, that's a stain on their character that they think they can be a jackass to that person. And then by the same accord, some of those people will be real nice to me personally, but then a jerk to somebody. And I'm like, these people are important.
I lose it.
I work with these people every day. They're important to me. And the carriers are the ones on the 1099. So they're very important to us too.
You got to keep them happy over everybody.
Yeah. So I look at it at all stages, man. I'm just focused on the little details, and it doesn't have to be who's the best sales guy, who runs the most appointments, who buys the most leads. That doesn't necessarily always, that's not always the thing that stands out.
Mm-hmm.
I just want, and I do that with my recruiters. I get them to identify who's different than the 50 other people you talk to this week. And if you're just paying attention to who's different than the crowd, I like that person. And they just in some way give me some attribute that stands out, and I can usually find other ways to help them.
I want to go a little deeper than that. Like of the people that you're bringing in, are like how are you recruiting them? Like I know you said you were running like Indeed ads or something like that before. Are you going after people that are already licensed insurance agents that are maybe you just see that they're doing it but they're struggling? It's like, hey, I can help you. Or are you bringing people in that aren't even licensed?
You know what's funny, man? Technically, we were all unlicensed at one point, right? But if I look at my career, the ones that have done the best came to me unlicensed.
Me too.
You know, the traditional person, human, is pretty negative, and they find excuses to validate their lack of success. So they blame external things. You know, the average agent believes that they're not successful because of you somehow. Your system, your support, your leads, the average agent believes that the external is causing them to lack success.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy fired up about a lot of like licensed agents, especially ones that have been in it a long time.
Yeah.
Like you've been in it.
Jumpers. If they're hierarchy jumpers, there's a reason, and it could be that they're blaming. One of my buddies that runs a call center, because it's similar in call center management. You're managing a lot of different personalities in one room, and their personality can affect other people on the team like really quickly. And they were always preaching early on that you don't blame the leads, you don't blame these things. You always look for internal factors of what can I do different. And that's what the winners in those environments did, is they looked at how can I change?
The old man, right?
Yeah.
So there may be a valid reason. So again, the answer is both, but I don't preference one. If you made me pick, I would take unlicensed first.
Yeah, that's what we always say.
If you made me pick, now if I get the right license guy, obviously it lets me skip a few steps. But when someone comes to me from another company, dude, I'm trying to find out why they're looking to switch.
Yeah.
And if they're like negative about A, B, and C things about the company, my favorite question is like, hey, Justin, I got a question, dude. There's someone having success at your company, right? Like there's a leaderboard. Someone's making money there, right?
Yeah.
They all say yes. And I go, how is it that they're having success and you're not?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there are factors that can cause someone to not somewhere else. I'm not confused by that, but I just want to see their answer.
Yeah.
Because maybe I like the guy to go, you know what, man, I just didn't put in the effort. I didn't attend the trainings. I just didn't get, you know what I mean, the connection, something. I like where he's taking ownership of stuff.
Yeah.
If they're coming to me and complaining about how terrible a guy Justin is, da da da, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not the magic man. You know
We
what I mean? I'm here.
look at it, this like the recruiting and the sales side are the same. So somebody told me a long time ago, when you're selling, instead of you're doing phone sales, which is even crazier. If you're doing a phone sale and there's 0 objections to my sale that I have to overcome, the probability of that sale falling off in the first year is much higher.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even officially getting issued, because they're just like telling you what you want to hear to get you off the phone, and they're never going to follow through, and they're not going to pay whatever. The same accord when you're recruiting an agent, the of the licensed ones that we've gotten, they were people that told us like no for some sort of loyalty reason for a long period of time. And then we just continued to have a friendship and add value. And over time, like one of them would come, but it wasn't like they weren't searching for it. It was like you kind of wore on them, and they're like, well, I'm doing okay with this hierarchy, but gosh, Justin's always there for me when I need something.
Yeah.
I just think I'd be a little bit happy over there. No offense to this one. When that guy moves, he's awesome. You don't really have to do anything with him, but he wasn't looking for that. And I tell people this too, when they're hiring like inside staff members, I'm like, go and find somebody that's not looking. Like if you're hiring them for a job, find somebody that's already got a job and then that's doing well, and then just offer them more money.
Yeah,
because
correct.
That person was already doing well. They're happy. And now I'm just going to make them a little bit happier and keep them over here.
Yeah.
So
that's what we've done well with. You know what I mean? No one's confused if you pay attention to our model. It's like, hey, you're doing the same work. Come over here, we'll pay you more. I mean, that's certainly been part of our strategy as well. You know, and again, it's so again, I think there's a balance, man. And you know, I like a challenge, but I don't want to say I want easy, because that's not what I'm trying to say. But I want them to be clear that they're going to have to put in most of the work. And I had to change myself internally so much to have any level of success in this industry, that how can I teach it any other way? I can only tell you what I've done. And what I've done is changed me. And I've taken ownership of stuff. And I've gone out of the way to get better and learn and get coached by people and, you know, educate myself and go to events and get on trainings late at night. And, you know what I mean? So I just kind of teach what I've done, man.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully it works for people.
We sell tech and training solutions and all this kind of stuff. Like we sell the concepts. But at the end of the day, I have to be blatantly honest with agents. Is like, I was very successful without any of that. I was successful with a file box in the back of my car, going into paper applications, working direct mail leads. Like, and so, you know, these tools or these systems or these processes or these ideas are supposed to help you grow, maybe you grow a business out of what you're doing. But really, you know, the people that were successful before all this stuff listed in the marketplace.
Yeah, 100%.
Still have to do some work.
Yeah. You got to.
They're tools to help, but you still have to put in the work.
Yeah, we were actually about to do a webinar here in just a little bit on a Facebook ad, you know, that we're running that's working for some of our people, and you know, but I think they're going to get mad because I'm going to tell them, like, the number one thing that we're doing is some of you guys are waiting. You're trying to automate the sale to the point you never even have to talk to somebody, which sounds great. Yeah. But our guys, the way it's working is as soon as the lead comes through, we're calling them, you know, as soon as possible. Like that's, you know, you're calling them, and it's that call that's the most important thing. You know,
no matter how the lead has been generated.
Yeah.
No matter what they're responding to, call them right now.
I love automations. I'm an automation freak. But the automation is so we can talk to more people.
Right.
Yeah. Not talk to less.
Not to automate so you don't have to talk to anybody. That's if you can do that, guess what? The insurance company is going to get rid of us anyway, because they don't have to pay us. They'll just pay the system.
Our profession will be irrelevant in 10 years.
Yeah, if we do that.
Hey, on a similar note, dude, I'll say this. One of the things that I had a revelation when I was, because you know how, and I'm sure you went through this, man, where you're frustrated with agents because they aren't doing A, B, and C, or they're not good at whatever.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people build and struggle there. They're like, they're not this, they're not listening, they're not doing this, da 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 da. And I had to have this realization one day, dude. If they were everything I wanted them to be, what would they need me for?
Yeah.
You know, and I had to start looking at this thing as being grateful that I was put into a position to where some other human was calling me to get guidance on their financial future for their family. Like, I don't take that lightly anymore. And at the beginning I did. I took that for granted. Now I go like, dude, I'm put in this position for a reason. It's the least I could do is help them. And even if that means coaching them on how to like think about it or look at it or be more positive, like our job is, it's like kids. Like Maddox he's going into 5th grade and he had to do like long division. He was doing some homework and he didn't understand it fully. Can you imagine if I was mad at him that he doesn't know long division yet? That'd be weird.
Yeah.
My job is to sit down and teach him how to do it. You know what I mean? And supplement what he's learned in school and have patience and teach him how to get to those next stages. So we look at agents like our job is to take them from kindergarten and get them into college relative to what we do. You know what I mean? And have that level of patience along the way. So that's helped me personally to look at it through a different lens, you know?
I dig it, man. Same thing with, you know, when you're dealing with customers, man, if they're
for sure.
They can be irritating when there needs help with little things, but they need help with little things. It's that help with little things that make you a relevant profession. You know, that they need. I always tell people we're more on the Medicare side, right? And I tell my customers all the time, I say, thank God Congress keeps making this as confusing as possible because that makes me relevant and you need me. And that's great. I need a relationship where you
job
need
security.
So, well, hey, man, we really appreciate you being on today. If people are trying to reach out to you, I know you're very active on Instagram. What's the best way for people to reach out?
JohnWetmore.com has all my socials. I'm mainly on Facebook and Instagram personally. You know, I have all the other stuff, but that's where I personally spend most time. You can hit me up, DM me, whatever. Follow me. I'm not hard to find.
Nope.
Yeah. I have stuff everywhere.
Puts up some great content on Instagram. You know, that's how he beat it to me. We're always looking for guests to bring on an interview and keep seeing stuff. And I'm like, I'm got to get this John guy on the show. So appreciate you taking the time.
Enjoyed it.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Later.
It's time to grow your agency like a guru. Introducing Go Guru Pro. The Go High Level platform allows for minimizing software-based subscriptions and grants control over several facets of marketing and communication. Automate your workflow, communicate with your leads, book appointments in advance, and house all your clients in one secure location. Visit goguru.pro and schedule your one-on-one demo today.